Let's talk about vibe coding. On the coding spectrum, you have traditional coding, starting from scratch, that experienced programmers typically do. In recent years, with the growth of LLMs, there's a lot of services offering co-pilots helping with programming. On the opposite end of the spectrum is vibe coding, open to everyone, from beginners to more experienced programmers. In traditional coding, programmer would make a plan, then code it, run it, and correct the errors as you go. In vibe coding, you don't code anything. You ask an LLM to do it for you, you run the result without reading the code. And then, if any error arises, or if you want to change some of the output, you just tell the LLM to adjust as you go. So, where does vibe coding come from? It was coined by the co-founder of OpenAI, Andrej Karpathy. And basically, it's all about asking an LLM in plain English and managing the product and not the code. But to be able to do that, you need minimum viable knowledge. It's necessary concepts to unlock this skill. It will enable the creation of simple and even more complex apps. It will help you access the power of Python libraries and APIs. The requirements for this course are very simple. You don't need any prior knowledge. You only need a computer able to run Python and VS Code, a code editor. Some examples use a paid subscription to access an API. Is vibe coding bad coding? The goal is not to code well. The goal is to embrace a practical MacGyver ethos and getting things done. Personal apps typically don't need the same standard as commercial software. What you're building is code for yourself, and you're building your talent stack that you can combine with your other skills. Why vibe coding is a great start? First, it has a much easier learning curve than traditional courses. It's also fun to experiment with all kinds of ideas, libraries, APIs, and it's a novel approach to building programs and software. Forget the measure twice, cut once. You don't need to measure anything. You just get going, start cutting and cutting and cutting as many times as you need, because you're not the one cutting. You're just directing the cutting. So how will you do it? You will start by asking an LLM. We will use ChatGPT, and simply copy-paste the code. No need to read it. You will run it, and then you will copy-paste the errors or ask the LLM for changes and start again. Your new potential with vibe coding. Vibe coding will help unlock your creativity, will help you build tools, software for yourself, for fun or for work. And it will allow you to follow your curiosity. There's a lot of things you can build with software. Let's talk about the minimum viable knowledge. First, we use Python. Python is a programming language that reads more or less like English, but has a particular syntax. We use Python for this course because LLMs have excellent training on this language from millions and millions of lines of software written by experts. You don't need to know it. You don't need to learn it. You need to install Python on your machine. It might already be there. If it's not, download it for free on python.org. There are many tutorials, or you can ask ChatGPT to guide you. How to use Python. To write and run a Python program, you need the equivalent of a word editor for code. This is called a code editor, or IDE, for Integrated Development Environment. It's like Word for code. It colors keywords, it helps debug, and more. I recommend to use VS Code. It's a free IDE for Mac and Windows that you can download at the following link. Terminal window. This is a bare-bone interface window where you run your code. There is a terminal window at the bottom of the VS Code interface. We'll simply use it to copy and paste errors and see the results of our code. Python libraries, what are they? Python libraries are free functions that add features to your programs. There's thousands of libraries for databases, math, graphics, computer vision, etc. Each library generally requires you to install it on your machine first and then to import it in your program. To install it, you use pip install and the name of the library. To use in the code, you import the library. We'll see many examples of that. APIs. What are APIs? APIs are like digital bridges to connect your code to other services, such as sending data to a Google Sheet. Most APIs require a key, like a personal password, to access. You're given those keys when you register to the services, and you generate the key. Specific rules and formats are used to send and receive data, and some APIs are not free.